Shalum. Shalom and welcome. Welcome to Yasharal's Final Exodus Readiness series. It is a message to set apart Yasharal, also known as Israel. It is a message to Hebrews and Gentiles that are made one by Yahushua HaMashiach. My name is Symmanayah, and this is the 14th installment of this series. And this installment focuses on redeeming the time. I say to you again, welcome. Let's begin. In this installment, I address the sensitivity and critical need to understand why it is important to recognize what the scriptures mean by redeeming the time. We will discover as the spirit of our teacher Yahushua HaMashiach refine us in this walk that the scriptures are like an endless flowing river, feeding our minds and spirits, so that we are able to mature in our relationship with the Almighty Father, Yahuah. With these words said, let's get into this installment more. Again, it is focusing on understanding the dynamics of redeeming the time. My brothers and sisters, as I was typing what I'm about to present, as I started typing, it was as though the Spirit of Yahusha compelled me to present these words first. We will discover that written texts known widely as the Bible or scriptures have literal purpose and a more life-giving place within this walk. In other words, there are scriptures we can read and understand the literal, but there's far much more to understand and to receive once we begin to discern the life in the scriptures. There are those who cannot discern the life or only a portion, and that is for varying reasons. And then it is written how these reasons exist and why they exist. There are those who consume much time trying to press upon people the need to go back to what they perceive to be the original Hebrew language. But I submit to you, modern Hebrew is Aramaic. In Paleo Hebrew, the original Hebrew was in pictures and symbols, with the dependence on us to lean into the Spirit of Yahuah to make known what those pictures and symbols are saying to his set-apart children. Yes, there are teachers who spend a lot of time telling you this is what the Hebrew mean and think that they are impressing those who are drawn of Abba Yahuah. But those who know better press on into their calling. But they are young. There are those who are newly awakened. There are those who believe that by pursuing the modern Hebrew language, that brings them closer to the Most High. And I share with you, O Yasharal, it's beyond just knowing and understanding the lyrics, the words, the text. It is about understanding the life-giving instructions from the Almighty Father. There are also teachers among us who would have you think that as individuals who are drawn by the Most High share specific scriptures, that they're just cherry-picking scriptures for their own benefit. Sure, there are those who will cherry-pick just to push their own agenda. But I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, the scriptures are like flowing waters. There are those who will also share passages of scriptures as they are led by the Spirit of Yahusha. And it is you, O Yasharal, you the listener, will find yourselves equipped with the ability to discern the life and whether what one is sharing is applicable or not, whether there are instructions in their message or not. It would be wise to seek to discern whether there is connectivity, or in other words, what they present connects with the scriptures in whole. You see, when the scriptures flow as a living river, and you get one thing out of it, and you read it and you get something else, and you get something else every time you read it, if it connects, if there's connectivity that keeps it whole, then it remains the set apart as if it was the set apart water of the Almighty Father. It remains life-giving from the Spirit of Abba Yahuah. So let us seek to discern when someone is sharing something. I have seen people falsely accused and say this person is reading into the scriptures and putting their own agenda. Before they ask, can it connect? Can the words that a person is offering regarding a passage of scripture, does it connect with the original text, with the literal? Or does it totally conflict? If it connects, my brothers and sisters, consider that it indeed may be set apart. Pray, my brothers and sisters, for I believe with all my heart, mind, and body that the Most High will indeed make things clear. On the matter of redeeming the time, we are instructed in Colossians 4:5. Yes, Colossians 4:5. It reads as follows: walk in wisdom toward those who are outside, redeeming the time. My brothers and sisters, in order to walk in wisdom and demonstrate what redeeming the time truly means as we are instructed, we must first identify some things that are critical. One is, how are we alive? How are we living? And I submit to you Deuteronomy 8:3. Deuteronomy 8:3. It reads as follows: and he humbled you and let you suffer hunger and fed you with manna which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuah. The literal. Here we see the literal speaking to those who were alive and were among the ranks of those who came out of Egypt or Mitzrayim. That is the literal. The spiritual is, it speaks to us, letting us know that man doesn't live by bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuah. So we must know this before we can say we are on that path to redeeming the time in the most correct way. We must also be familiar with, if we want to know anything, if we want to gain knowledge, if we want to mature as we redeem this time, if we want wisdom and discipline, then we must be mindful of Proverbs 1:7, which says, the fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. And I want you to read on with me. That was Proverbs 1:7. Proverbs 14:26 says, and the fear of Yahuah is strong trust, and his children have a place of refuge. If ever a time this verse would be loud and clear in our ears, it should be now, Yasharal. For if we fear the Most High, we must know that it is important for us to begin to grow in trusting that his promises to his set-apart children will indeed be fulfilled. His promises will be fulfilled, and in trusting him, we will discover a place of refuge, a refuge where he wants us, individually and or collectively, to be until these physical bodies cease to exist, or until such time as the physical return of Yahushua Mashiach, and those who are alive will be transformed. Redeeming the time, we must also know there is something that we must consider, O Yasharal. Romans 12:1, it says, I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of the Almighty One, to present your bodies a living offering. Some translations will say living sacrifice, set apart, well-pleasing to the Almighty One, your reasonable worship. Are we presenting ourselves before the Almighty Father? How then can we say we are redeeming time in the most wise and set apart way? And in order to redeem the time, we must get close to the Father. How do we get closer to Abba Yahuah? We must get to him through our sacrifice, our acceptance of Yahushua Mashiach. For no man can come unto the Father except by the Son. And this only can occur by being drawn by the Father. Hebrews 6:44 says, no one is able to come to me unless the Father, speaking of Abba Yahuah, who sent me, draws him, and I shall raise him up in the last day. That was John 6:44. John 12:32 reads, and if I am lifted up from the earth, shall draw all men to myself. Here Yohanan, or John, is quoting Yahushua Mashiach, and he letting us know that if he's lifted up, and I submit to you, O Yasharal, we lift him up by our worship and obedience, by understanding the Ten Commandments and obeying them, by understanding his laws and statutes, that it goes beyond just the 5 books of Musa or Moses, his living instructions, his Torah, his living Torah is his living instructions, all of them, even those which we do not see written, that we can confirm and identify to be truly his instructions. You see, the word Torah means instruction, in spite of widespread teachings to want you to believe that their meaning is just the first 5 books. If the first 5 books was the only instructions of Yahuah, what then do we call the rest of the scriptures? We give them labels, but yet they do not have instructions for us? I think not. All of the scriptures, when made alive, will prove to be contributing factors to us receiving living instructions from the Almighty Father. We must begin to realize sacrifice is a daily thing. Our brother Shalum, or some know as Paul, in 1 Corinthians 15:31, he gave us an example. He said, I affirm by the boasting in you which I have in Messiah Yahusha, our master, I die day by day. You see, my brothers and sisters, through the power and might of the Spirit of Yahusha, we can bring our self, our flesh, our mental faculties into subjection to the Spirit of Yahusha, put them to the side and walk in the fullness of His Spirit. Romans 7:22 says, for I delight in the Torah of the Almighty One according to the inward man. It goes on to say in 23 through 25, I'm in the 7th chapter of Romans, but I see another law in my members battling against the Torah of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. Wretched man that I am, who should deliver me from this body of death? Thanks to the Almighty One through Yahushua Messiah our Master. So then, with the mind, I myself truly serve the Torah of the Almighty One, but with the flesh, the law of sin. So you see, my brothers and sisters, we will learn to yield to the true instructions of the Almighty One, the Torah of the Almighty One, and we will learn to bring into subjection the instructions of the flesh, which has been programmed by our environments, whether it be family, household, friends, or job, peers. A lot of things we process as we grow up, as we walk this planet, influences how we conduct ourselves. But as we grow into the power and might and maturity of the instructions by the Almighty Father through Yahushua HaMashiach, we learn to know that the inward man has a different message, has a different purpose. 2 Corinthians 4:16 says, therefore, we do not lose heart, but even if our outward man is perishing, the inward man is being renewed day by day. And we know it is a challenge, O Yasharal. Never forget 1 John 4:1, 1 John 4:1, for it must be something that is active in our lives moment by moment. We must pray and seek to discern. We must test the spirit. 1 John 4:1 reads as follows, beloved ones, do not believe every spirit, but prove the spirits, whether they are of the Almighty One, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. How do we prove the spirit? Through study, through prayer, through wise counsel, through set-apart teaching, through yielding to the Spirit of Yahusha, bringing to remembrance the things that He has instructed us. Yasharal, oh Yasharal, we will discover how much favor we have received from Abba Yahuah with each passing day. We will discover the many things that we have taken for granted, and we will rise above previous behaviors and actions as we find ourselves refined and disciplined in these end times. Our gathering from the 4 corners of the earth will prove to bring something extraordinary and phenomenal. Pray, study, pray some more, and seek earnestly to discern the Spirit of Yahusha, sent in Yahusha's name. Pray to seek what He is saying to us directly in spirit, through us, one towards another. We will witness direct interactions with the set-apart Spirit, individually and collectively, working in us, through us, one towards another. I cannot stress enough, my brothers and sisters, there will be times we will subject ourselves one towards the other. It is not a quid pro quo. It is yielding when the Spirit of Yahusha is speaking through another, and we must be silent. There will be chosen leaders that will emerge among an awakening nation, and structure and discipline will improve our way of life as we are refined and gathered according to what is instructed by the Spirit of Yahusha. My brothers and sisters, we will grow to see the life in the following as well. When it comes to redeeming time, my brothers and sisters, with every choice, with every decision, once the clock ticks past that minute, that second, that moment, that is what we redeem for that Well, that is what we exchange for the breath that the Most High had given us or would have given us. We've exchanged that breath for the action that we so demonstrate among others. Let me read some more scriptures. For those who prefer scriptures only, hear these words, my brothers and sisters. John 10:28. And I give them everlasting life, and they shall by no means ever perish, and no one shall snatch them out of my hand. Here we see the Most High working in John and quoting Yahushua Mashiach, instructing us that no one will snatch us out of his hand. Luke chapter 13, verse 24 through 30 reads, strive to enter through the narrow gate, because many, I say unto you, shall seek to enter in and shall not be able. You see, so it's not going to be as just simple as someone saying, because I want to get in, I can get in. Watch, my brothers and sisters, as the final Exodus began to take shape. No matter how willful a person may be, no matter how strong a person will say, I want to be among the ranks, the gate is narrow, and the power and might of the Most High knows what it takes to allow those who will be among the ranks of the final gather, to allow those who will be gathered from the four corners of the earth. I want to go on with Luke chapter 13. I want to go on to the 25th through the 30th verse. When once the master of the house has risen up and shut the door, and you begin to stand outside and knock at the door, saying, Master, Master, open for us, he shall answer and say to you, I do not know you, where you are from. Then you should begin to say, we ate and drank in your presence, and you taught in our streets. But he shall say, I say to you, I do not know you, where you are from. Depart from me, all you workers of unrighteousness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth when you see Abraham and Isaac and Yaakov and all the prophets in the reign of the Almighty One and yourselves thrown outside. And they shall come from the east and the west and from the north and the south and sit down in the reign of the Almighty One. And see, there are last who shall be first, and there are first who shall be last. My brothers and sisters, we will become mindful of what is necessary. We must and will find ourselves doing what is required to fulfill the promises that the Most High has given to his children. There will be living instructions and orders continuously. There are warnings regarding being led astray. Let us also be mindful of them so that we do not fall victim to our own academic prowess, our own rebellious attitudes and behaviors. The Most High promised to refine his children or discipline them, and we will witness such promises come to be. Who is mindful of Matthew 24th chapter, the 5th verse? Matthew 24:5. It reads as follows. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. You see, we can expect that some will be led astray, my brothers and sisters, but not all. Drop down to the 11th verse in that same chapter, 24th chapter, it's saying, many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. He's letting us know that there will be those led astray. But there are scriptures that also say, if it was possible, he would lead astray the very elect, meaning those who have been chosen and drawn by the Almighty Father to fulfill what he has promised. John 8:31 and 32 reads as follows. So Yahusha said to those Yehudim who believe him, if you stay in my word, you are truly my taught ones, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. My brothers and sisters, with each passing moment of our day, our day-to-day actions will prove that every decision that takes place, there's an exchange. If we're doing one thing, we're not doing the other. If we're doing the other, we're not doing the other thing. In other words, there are life choices. They come with benefits and consequences. Redeeming the time, my brothers and sisters, every breath is more valuable than anything you can imagine. Redeeming the time describes every exchange we make as we walk through this earth. Those who witness the fruit of our decisions witness how we redeem the time. Each of our personal encounters with others is like cashing in on the breath given by the Almighty Father for that moment in time, for that point in time, for that period in time. I cannot stress enough how moment by moment we are redeeming the time. The time is now to put away things of a child and rise up as mature, set apart ones led by the Spirit of Yahuah. Send in Yahusha's name. Let me pause for a minute. I want to share with you, my brothers and sisters. I have noticed over the days as people try to interpret end time prophecies, I have noticed grown men who claim to be sincere about serving the Almighty Father. I have witnessed some make light of the services that the two witnesses of Revelation will demonstrate. I have seen many people think that, oh, wouldn't that be awesome if you could breathe fire out of your mouth? I've seen people talk about end times and sometimes make light of what's to occur. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, as end times come, people will lose brothers and fathers and sisters and mothers and cousins. We will lose people that are close to us as a result of them being in the wrong place at the wrong time. We will witness the death of people that we know. When death and destruction comes, my brothers and sisters, there will even be set apart ones who will face physical death. We are not to make light of end times. This is not some game and it is not some circus. It is serious. Do you want to be among those who are playing and in folly? Do you want to be in the company of grown men claiming to be mores or teachers or pastors or evangelists? Do you want to be among those who claim to be righteous, set apart teachers and instructors who are taking light what is to come? It's time to gird up, O Yasharal, and realize redeeming the time. These are days where we must realize how serious the spiritual battle is. These are times. Now, am I saying we can never laugh and joke? No, I'm just saying the things that are prophesied, the things that are promised, the things that are set apart, that require serious instructions must not be taken lightly. My brothers and sisters, as we find ourselves facing the most trying of times, it is critical not to lose sight of Abba Yahuwah's promise and plans for his children. Yasharal, oh Yasharal, there will be times we will look back. Let the reason that we look back be to learn our lessons. But know as end times get intense, there will be much work ahead going forward. Remember what is written in the following. Luke 9:62 reads as follows. But Yahushua said to him, no one having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the reign of the Almighty One. Here, say this. I say this to you, my brothers and sisters. It's saying, let us not spend so much time on looking back, on looking at all history, giving history more time than is required to look forward. For there is so much work ahead for Yasharal, my brothers and sisters, so much work to be done. Look back and learn. Look back at our tutor. Look back that we can know where we've come from. But let us know when it's fit to also look forward, to keep our eyes focused on the living Spirit of the Most High Father. Send in Yahushua's name. Proverbs 4:25 reads as follows. Let your eyes look forward and your eyelids look straight before you. There's a time and season for everything, my brothers and sisters. Let us discern when. We must have the strength and fortitude to press forward in spite of what we're getting ready to witness in these end times. My brothers and sisters, I cannot emphasize enough how there will be forced migrations, forced movement. But this is necessary in order to bring us from the four corners of the earth. And the forced movement, the forced migration is necessary because we know that we can be a stiff-necked people. But this does not nullify nor erase the promises that our Father, Yahuah, the Almighty One, made to his children. Let me also share with you 2 Corinthians 12:9. It reads as follows. And he said to me, my favor is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. Most gladly then I should rather boast in my weakness, so that the power of Messiah rests on me. Here we see our brother Shalum, or Paul, sharing with us how in weakness he became strong, demonstrating to us the thing that he have experienced, we could also experience that in our weakness, we find ourselves becoming strong in Yahushua Mashiach. Hebrews 11th chapter, verse 32 to 34. Come with me and read this, O Yasharal. It says, and what more should I say? For the time would fail me to relate Gideon, Barak, Shimshon, and Yiftah, also David and Samuel in the prophets, who through belief, overcame reigns, or some may say kingdoms, worked righteousness, obtained promise, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword. Out of weakness were made strong, became mighty in battle, put foreign armies to flight. You see, though we may think we know what it is that must be done, we will find that in extreme humbling times we will become weak. And we will cry out to Abba, Father, Yahuah. We will seek his living instructions and orders. We will seek to discern his spirit, whether it be directly or him working through his chosen teachers, leaders, pastors, and evangelists, apostles, and prophets. We will seek to hear from the Almighty Father. And in doing so, in that moment of weakness, we will know when to shut up, when to be quiet. Some might say, I don't like the word shut up. That's too harsh. Are we here to debate whether it's harsh or not? Are we here to look at what is the meaning? What is the function of the words? Shut up or be quiet or be silent or wait on the Most High. And as we discern his spirit, we will find that as we are confident that it is indeed he who is working in us, through us, and around us, we will rise up with the power and might, with the strength of set apartness that is given to us by him. My brothers and sisters, there's much to be said about redeeming the time. Remember, there are no rewind buttons in life. It would be wise for us to choose this day, each day, with knowing that our actions reflect how we manage the breath, the life, how we manage the sound mind, and our physical abilities that were given us by the favor of Abba Yahuah. Redeeming the time. It's time to give thought to what we do, what we say to one another, how we treat one another, how we walk this journey and profess to be and set apartness. The time is now to take redeeming the time with a degree of wisdom. What is most important, my brothers and sisters, is that we grow to discern the living orders and commands from the Almighty Father. That we understand that it's he who sent his set apart spirit in Yahushua's name. Let us never forget that the Almighty Father speaks to us in spirit as well as through us one towards another, as well as through his chosen ones, his chosen leaders. We will discover who they are. We will find that in these coming days, we will not have time to do a quid pro quo. You gave me an hour, I give you an hour, I give you an hour, you give me an hour. We will find that there will be times we must cut things short. We will find that there are times we must be still. And we will find that there are times we must act. And there will be times when we will know without a doubt the Most High is ordering us to do or say something that we may not have time to explain to another. Know this, O Yasharal, it can be considered complicated, but to those who are drawn by the Most High, such complications will be minimized. We will grow to understand clearly what is expected of us as we find ourselves redeeming the time. Stay tuned, my brothers and sisters. I'm compelled to believe there's more. Yes, much more ahead, for there's so much work for an awakening nation, specifically for those who will support in or partake in the final Exodus to come. The set-apart children of Yahuah will prove to demonstrate how being mindful of redeeming the time is important. It is an important factor within this walk, within the functionality of an awakening nation. Until next time, be encouraged. For our redemption is drawing near, and it is nearer than many can imagine. And as end times become intense, we will see those who take the prophecies and promises of the Most High lightly, those who think it is something to be taken lightly or for granted. Correction comes, proof comes, This is spiritual warfare, O Yasharal. But we serve an Almighty One, and success of this plan will prove to emerge before the eyes of those who find favor in Him. Until next time, I pray that we grow strong in discernment, and that we learn when to act and when to be still, and that we learn that indeed the Almighty Father's presence is before us. I pray that you are in good health. I pray that understanding and knowledge fuel the wisdom that is necessary for each of us to make the right decisions as we redeem the time. Until next time, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.